Shelley Winter Show, live, local, topical, and live, local, topical, and relevant. Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. Hold on, I want to come right to you. I've got to talk about this event. So, as many of you know, I'm on every night 7 to 9 p.m., right? And many events during campaign season happen during the evenings after work. Start maybe 5 with a reception, and the candidates get there 5:36, and they go to like 8. And I get invited to all the campaign stuff all the time, but I can never go. So today I was invited. Shout out to Frank Murphy. Frank Murphy is a new hire on the Rick Jackson campaign for Black and Brown Outreach. He's he's from America First Policy Institute. Right, a former football player. And so he put together an event for Rick Jackson today at a barbershop on the south side for Old National Parkway. Probably about 50, 55 people in the room. It's a great conversation. I finally was able to see Rick Jackson in campaign mode. And I got to tell you, I'm more impressed than I was before I endorsed him. Like I'm like, now even more on Rick Jackson's team, meaning as a voter, because I watched him. Now, I've been around a lot of politicians in my life. Obviously, he's never run for office before, so he's an outsider. But let me tell you what I saw today. There are two types of politicians in rooms like this, whether it's a barbershop, a gala, a reception, or whatever, or adventure outdoors. There are two types of politicians. There are the politicians that come in and say hello, hey, Shelley Winter running for governor. How you doing? And there's politicians who do that, and they shake hands, and they keep moving through the crowd. There are politicians that you see, and they do that, and you could tell when they're talking to you, they're glancing to see who else is in the room. Do I have to make it over to this way? Do I have to make it over to this way? Do I have to make it over to this way? This way. That type of politician. I've seen them. This is not a bad thing, okay? This is not a bad thing. It's just that's kind of the political way. Make sure you touch the hands of the people in that room, but make sure you stop and give attention to maybe a big donor or a heavy voter or someone that has an organization or something like that. It's just the way of the world. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. It just is what it is. But then there's a politician or an outsider like a Rick Jackson. I saw this man walk through the door of the barbershop and literally listen to every single person. He would not sit down to start the conversation with Mr. Murphy in the barbershop chair for this conversation until he actually spoke to every single person in that room. And I don't mean speak like, hi, I'm Rick Jackson, nice to meet you. I'm talking about listening to their concerns, listen to whatever it was. I couldn't hear every conversation, but he was engaged with these people. Some of them asking questions, some of them running for office. I saw a good friend of mine who's running for state Senate 68. He was there with his wife, and they engaged for like 5 minutes. Rick Jackson talking, him talking, going back and forth, having a full conversation. And that's something that I think we need to, I heard it from others during the campaign. I heard from friends of mine who says, you've got to see him, you got to watch him, and stuff like that. The only other time I saw him was at the Cobb County Republican breakfast, but I couldn't stay because I had to get here to do the a Car Guys show. So I was there, I saw him speak, I asked a question, then I had to leave, so I didn't see him work the room. But I got to watch that now. That's important to me. I'll be honest with you. And I'll tell you, I've endorsed Rick Jackson for governor, but I will tell you, Keisha Lance Bottoms has the same ability. I watched her. When Gavin Newsom came. I was at that event, and I watched her the same way. Like, I'm an observer. I watch people, and she worked that room the same way Mr. Jackson did. Not trying to move on to the next person after immediately talking to that person, trying to move on fast. No, sitting there and engaging for as long as that individual wanted to engage. As a matter of fact, I'm sure it's frustrating for both their campaigns that they are like that, because it makes you can't plan how much time you're going to spend in a location, because your candidate's trying to talk to everybody. And it's real talk. It's not like, hey, how you doing? Hey, how you doing? Hey, okay, I'm going to go sit down. No. It's a real full conversation. And let me tell you where that comes from Mr. Jackson's side. Being a businessman, growing a business the way he has grown his business, he has had to be in rooms all the time. And when you're in rooms growing a business as a business owner, no matter if it's a small business, $1 billion business, $100 million business, or a small mom and pop, when you're in rooms as a business owner, you don't want to miss a single conversation. You're trained to talk to everybody because you don't know who anybody is in that room beyond the people that obviously invited you. So you want to have these conversations. It's in your blood to have these conversations. I hear all the time talk radio people, media people who will say, hey, I'm not really good around crowds. I'm just the opposite. I love crowds. But I'm trained because before I did talk radio, I was in marketing and sales. So when I was invited to a reception, I wanted to touch every person in that room. I made it a point to touch every single person in that room because I was there to network. A politician or an outsider in this case is there to get every vote. No vote is to be left unturned. And that was very powerful to me. It meant something to me, particularly since this was a crowd of African Americans on Old National Highway. And he answered every question. He even at one point was asked about prison reform. And he says, you know what? Right now, I do not have an answer for you. I'm working on what I think about fixing, reforming the prisons, but I don't have an answer for you right now. I thought, who does that? Who does that? Now, I know some people may slam it. Some campaign people may see that as I don't. I see that as an honest answer. Hey, what are you going to do to fix the prisons? We have a lot of people. He talked about mental health, but he says, right now we're working on that. And make sure I get your number so I can get an answer back to you. It's honest. I respect the honesty. I tell you, I watched him for the first time in real time work a room of voters, by the way, are not core Republican voters. That's the key. That's the key. He wasn't at a Cobb County breakfast. He wasn't at a Gwinnett County breakfast. He wasn't up at the Rabun County Boil, which is coming up on August 22nd. Make sure you get up to Rabun County for the GOP boil. Crab, was it crab boil, I think? And I'm not sure, but it's a boil. I'm an MC, I think. I think they haven't fired me yet to be the MC as yet. But no, I'm dead serious. He was at an African-American event. 100% African-Americans in the barbershop. Well, there's one white kid, but if you could tell by his haircut, he was raised by black people. I'm just kidding. But no, and that's what made it more impactful to me. Because it's easy to work in your room where people kind of agree with you and you're just saying hello to everybody, particularly when you probably know half the people in that room. In this room, he only knew the guy organizing the event. Shout out to Gordon Roll and his wife, Mrs. Roll, who helped put on this event as well. But this was a great event, and I was very impressed. Very, very impressed. There's a genuineness. There's a genuineness there that you don't see often in our political world. A real genuineness, a feeling that he really cares about what that individual person was saying to him at any individual moment in that barbershop this afternoon. And you could see it, that he was listening, he was engaged. You could see when someone had a concern, he answered it directly. That's real. That's something to be remembered come November. It's also something, though, ladies and gentlemen, I would love to see more of. I really would, on both sides of the aisle. I'm sure there are Democrats that want to see more of that on their side with their down-ballot races. People who genuinely listen when a voter is talking to them, and they're taking their concerns seriously, even to the point of possibly answering in that moment. Shelley went to show. We'll be right back.